my experience is that regardless of how good your recruiters are, you get a much better gauge by actually working with them. So for the last 4 years, like I typically hire freelancers by hiring 3 at a time to do a very small scope of work that'll only take a week or so. And then I'll keep the best person. And like, I would consider that like if you were to use a really good recruiter versus test 3 to keep 1, like I will statistically beat the recruiter like by a big margin. And so that's our philosophy is, we do have recruiters locally, but we're just always testing people. Right. And so like, we don't put a lot of effort into a big interview process because I'd rather just work directly with the person for, a week part-time. And I'll know, do I want to continue working with this person or not? So typical offshoring recruiting companies, like they really promote how much they put into the recruitment process. Like we put a lot less, but we put a lot more into kind of testing them real time.
So about security and confidentiality, how does TaskBeasts protect my sensitive business information?
We make our freelancers sign kind of a contract that they're not going to share that with anyone else. And if you were to think about it realistically, like the chances of them meeting someone in a short time horizon that is interested in having that information is pretty small. So like we don't go overboard in protecting.
So sometimes offshoring solutions can feel rigid and slow to adapt to different business needs and things like that. So how flexible and customizable can TaskBeasts be to adjust to how I want to work?
In general, I would say we're very flexible. Like you can name almost any type of task. We'll be able to staff it quickly. You'll have someone working on it and updating you. And like what we do not do is we don't change our system for the client. It's like we put our TaskBeasts through the same training so that they operate and they update clients in the same way and they work in a very disciplined way. So like if that doesn't work for the clients and they want to work in a very different way, that's great. We're just not the one, we're not the right solution for them then. One thing that people ask me is like, what about things that are very complex? Like you don't want to be writing out big essays of what to do. So on that, like what we typically do and what we tell our TaskBeasts to do is to make a Loom video. And so if the client wants to explain something complex, we tell them just create a Loom video, load it to the ClickUp card. And then also when our TaskBeasts want to explain what they've done and it's a little bit complex, they will also create a Loom video themselves.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. I mean, obviously Loom videos are really handy for that sort of thing. So one more thing, high turnover and mid-project drop-offs. Major risks or can be risks when you're outsourcing things. So how stable is the talent pool that you use and what measures are in place if someone leaves mid-job or they can't finish the work?
So this is one of the big advantages of working through us is that, first of all, a lot of our freelancers are vetted through us, have worked with us in the past. And therefore, like when you've worked consistently with someone for a while, like, it's rare that like on some new task, they just jet and, ghost you or something.
But, what if it's like an emergency or having a baby or something?
Yeah, that happens.
Avoidable.
That happens. But like we have a pretty good relationship with our people. And so they let us know. And the second thing we do is like we have access to a lot of different people. And so we can usually restaff someone else pretty quickly. And then the third thing I would say is because of the way that we work, which is a very transparent way where everything is a task and any work was updated as a comment, the transition to somebody else is a lot easier because you can just show them the task and they kind of get what, where to pick up where the other person left off.
Yeah. So it all just comes back to the communication again, and the ClickUp system, I guess, is going to help with those transitions and things. Yeah.